Hey, can anybody hear me okay? Is there anybody here? Oh, hey Grant, okay. Gonna see if anybody else shows up. But I had just decided to, excuse me, keep things simple and just stick with the Super Famicom version of this. I'll give this probably less than an hour, because this is more than I had expected to stream today. But yeah, here we go. This is the Japanese version of Kirby's Dream Course. In Japan, it's called Kirby's Bowl. I'm not sure if that's a reference to ice cream bowl or illicit substances, but here it is. Yeah, okay. I'll start with one of my files here. But yeah, I had thought this game, like I mentioned before, I thought this game kind of strange and lame when I first tried it out so many years ago. But it's really grown on me over time. It is difficult, for sure. It's deceptively difficult. There's a lot of little control quirks to master. Okay. Then the trick here is to, if I'm not mistaken, well, when I did this previously, my shot just sucked. But I believe the trick here, my aiming sucked. The trick here is to make it a little bit more than half powerful, but to not go all the way. So let's see if I do it. Yes! Alright. That's what we're talking about. So anytime you stroke, it uses a tomato. Yes, that tomato are Kirby's vitality points. You get 4 strokes per life. Your life is a ball. If you fall off the course, you lose a ball. Falling off sucks majorly. You don't want to fall off in this game at all. You gain a tomato anytime you defeat an enemy or fall into the golf hole. Okay. Hopefully I have this right. Ah, so close. You can see the tomato flashing in the corner. One of the big O tomatoes. You can see it flashing in the corner. That gets used up if I stroke. Oh, 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 man. Overshot it. Gotta love the windmills on the clouds. Okay. So what's neat about this game is that Kirby can get powers. It's a golf game with Kirby powers. And I can use that in the next stage. I don't want to use it here because I do not want to overshoot the hole. And this game is just, it's very nutty overall. Let's see if I can get a nice view of the course. Let's see, is it X or is it Y that lets you take a look at the course? Kirby is a very flexible character. You can do all kinds of crazy spin-off stuff, and it all works the way I see it. His enemies, they just work perfectly as miniature golf course obstacles. Kirby makes a good ball. That's that's why there's Kirby's Pinball Land and Kirby's Block Ball. It all seems to work out. And as we can see here, this course has a bit of a trick. This introduces warp tiles, or we could shoot over the wispy, but I really don't want to hit the spikes. If I hit the spikes, I'll lose a tomato, which is losing a stroke. This game punishes you for not playing well, essentially. Okay. I went a little too far. Ah, come on. If you remember, I'd streamed this on my birthday, but nobody watched. So it's good that we have some company here. Okay. I think this is where the jump ability comes into play. Go back and... Beautiful. You figure out what was going on with that footage today? It looked like there was an issue with all the changes in formats I was doing. Because the last 20 minutes or so, they're totally corrupted. That is great. This one, there's a trick here. See, the way this game works is that if let's say there's three enemies, like there's three enemies right here. So if I kill I forget what this guy is called, the little tiki guy, and the waddle do, then the third guy is going to become the hole. Or let's say hypothetically, if I got rid of the two tiki guys, then the waddle do would become the hole. So what's interesting about this game is that the end of the course is not really there. You have to make it happen. So the trick here would be to try to get the parasol and then gently float down into the hole. That's what the attempt is. When I touch the parasol, what I'll do, I'll get the parasol ability. Okay. Alright, can I do it? Oh. Crap. Where is the ball thing? Not as graceful as I wanted it to be. Alright, we got 3 people here. Don't be shy. Uh, so besides ground shots, you can also do fly shots. Really want to try to be careful to not get in the water. Getting stuck in the water, I mean, it sucks in any golf game, but I really feel the slow as molasses water physics in Kirby's Dream Course. Alright, let's see if I get it. Oh, crap. I'm gonna try to pop out of here. Alright, don't overshoot. Okay. Alright. Not too bad. Now the final course of stage 1. I like the music. It's thinking music. But this course is very tricky. That water tile is going to make the water disappear, and we're going to need to do some warping to make the hole appear. No, I don't know if that was the solution to this. Crap. I think it was that you go back and hit the wispy. I don't know. I think I screwed this up. Yeah, hitting that warp thing would not be good. Alright. Can I pop into that? Guess not. Alright. What drives me crazy is I can't tell if I'm in front of the wispy or not because of these isometric graphics. Nah. Oh. That was the ball. I still got 4 lives, but still. I'd like to be doing better. You bastard. Just get in there, jeez. Okay. So 25. I've done 18 before, So I just, well, at least it's better than I was. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first Kirby game on Super NES. It's fun and interesting. There's this, Kirby's Avalanche, Kirby Superstar, and then Dreamland 3. Okay. So I'm gonna need to get everybody with the fly shot if I got this right. Beautiful. Yes. Good. You know, other than Mario, I think Kirby's the only franchise Nintendo has come to experimenting with. I mean, arguably Pokemon, but Pokemon is cynically made to be a toy to be sold, and I don't feel that they're as adventurous with Pokemon spin-offs anymore. I think that they really just try to focus on the RPGs with Pokemon. But I think Kirby is more cost effective for Nintendo. Kirby is a surprisingly elastic character, the way I see it. And I'm not just talking because he can stretch himself and all that fun stuff. So if I get this right, I will be trying to get the electric power and eliminate the enemies, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. And hmm. Okay. All right. See, I do not want to hit this too hard, or I'm gonna go out of bounds. You gotta be kidding me. Just yeah, stuff like that is why this game is a little tricky. In fact, I think this might be the hardest golf game based on a Nintendo franchise, honestly. Ah, so close. But not too bad. A really tricky thing with this game is that if you notice, sometimes you can press the A button to, I don't know if I want to say stop the ball, but it manipulates the speed a little bit. The cute aesthetic makes it more aggravating than others, makes it feel mocking at times of stress. I think you mean with Kirby, right? And we get wheel power. Oh boy. I seem to remember having some bad playthroughs because of this hole, but let's see what I can do. I think you can wheelie across the water. Yeah. See, this is what... The sand is very frustrating. I was hoping I would ricochet off the wall with the wheel power. Did not pan out the way I expected. Alright, that should be it. Kirby is getting tired. I gotta get in there. The Q aesthetic makes a lot more well, the whole game has this Candyland look. Sure does. Alright. I think I got the strategy here. Wasn't quite what I wanted, but it'll have to do. Ooh, ooh. Damn, that was close. Oh, that's not good if I touch that warp thing. Where is that warp thing gonna send me? Back to the beginning. That is not good. There we go. This game was originally developed as, I think it was called T-Shot Golf or something like that. Before they decided that it would be a better idea to make it a Kirby game. I think it's called Specialty Golf. That game was eventually released in Japan, but only through the satellite view thing. Okay. So I really do not want to touch the green. try a fly shot here. Okay. Okay, I don't think that was too bad, honestly. Ooh, that's bad. At least I lost my life on my last hit. Otherwise, that would have been terrible. But let's see here. We got Squisher. That didn't go over very well. Then back to the start. And then that doesn't seem too hard. Yeah, I think honestly, I think the sand trap course, or the one with the green, was a little bit harder than this. You gotta be kidding me. I try not to make vid requests or tell people what to do, but have you ever considered in your own top 10? I only ask because people really eat that concept up. I have 2 or 3 ideas, and I have incomplete scripts. It's something I've highly considered because I think it would bring in some viewership. Uh, One of them was Konami games I would like to see re-released, and the other one was top 10 hardest video games, in my opinion. Should probably complete those ideas someday. So we're on course 3. Honestly, I forget how many courses this game has. World 3, course 1. And sorry, I think I might be moving around a little too fast. As we can see, that this game is just getting bigger and trickier. So I just gotta be careful here. A lot of my tricks I know from just kind of muscle memory and having played the game extensively. But I'm at the point where I don't remember the game too well. I probably should have bounced there. Okay. Ooh, okay. It's a bit of a bummer. Okay. I think if this game was more modern, I would have fallen off by now. And if I didn't overshoot it... Oh, that was so close. Oh, okay. Nice. Both good ideas. Yeah, I'll definitely have to act on that. There are a million ideas for a video, but only so much time. And again, sometimes my moodiness can be an issue. Just look how tricky this game is getting here. Sorry, I think I'm scrolling a bit too fast. Yeah, conveyor belts. Got warps. Yeah. That should bounce me off. I was hoping I could two-shot it, but I guess that's not happening. This is where I wish I knew more rap lyrics that reference bouncing. I wish Sam was in this stream, because he'd be able to help us with that, or freestyle. If Bradley's here, I believe I sent him footage from this part of the game some time ago. That didn't go the way I wanted. Oh well. Nah, I'm dead. Just trying to jump over the wispy, not into it. On the plus side, I'm looking at the stream now. It actually doesn't look too bad. The video quality. Okay, let's try to figure this one out. Because this game is like, it's a it is a golf game, but it also is kind of like a puzzle game in a way, figuring the courses out. So the dizzy thing will spin me, but I really don't want to get hit by that lightning. That is unbelievably close. Ooh, that's not too good. I was trying to hit the guy with the cap. Okay, the game has the decency. It told me that's out of bounds. Let's do a pop shot. Good. I don't think that accomplished anything. You're just cutting it close here. Oh, Krakow, you bastard. It just doesn't stop. Wow. That was dizzying. No, I think that's my last hit for that life. Hole 4, this is not good. Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna try to hit the Cappy guy anymore. I'm gonna instead go for the Sandman. Or whatever he's called. Hope that's lined up correctly. Ugh. But we're in, are we? No? Oh, come on. This is not good. I only have 2 strokes left. I have 1 stroke left. Last ball. 10. Huh. Let's check the comments. Hey, Killer Combat. Yeah, this is Kirby's Dream Course. The golf game. I like it. It's a bit tough, though. Alright. Boy. Damn it. See, I was trying to squish the squishy, you see. Alright, 1 hit left, and I have to get to the other side. I don't think I'm gonna make it, but I gotta try. And I'm sunk. Both figuratively and literally. Uh, maybe here's the place to stop. You guys want me to try out another Super Famicom game? I'll commit 20 more minutes to this. Let's see, how much of the game did I complete doing this? I honestly forget how many holes there are in this game. Looks like I did about a third of it. If my notes are correct here. I think I got my dream course, so... Yeah, hopefully I've satisfied some curiosity about this game. I definitely think it's neat. My friend Sean likes this game. Yeah, any suggestions on a Super Famicom game to move on to? I'm not gonna switch to the SNES Classic again today. Just messing with the picture format with that seemed to cause issues. Switching consoles during stream seems to cause issues. So, yeah, what should I play for the next 20 minutes on Super Famicom? What choices do we have? Yeah, I have over 40 games here. Let's see what we got here. Okay. We got some Run the Puzzle game. Super Tetris and Bomb Bliss. Some of these I don't really feel like playing. Wild Tracks. Ranma Neighborhood Combat. I got quite a few baseball games. Superstar, Gokujo Parodius, which I've played before. Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters. Game is very difficult. Tetris Flash. There's a lot of choices here. I also have Hurricanara Augusta, but I don't know how much I really want to do more golf. Mario Paint, Mario and Wario. Pilot Wings. I don't think I've streamed Pilot Wings live before. Yeah, there's some ideas I could throw out here. Mario and Wario sounds interesting. Grant, that was the puzzle game with the Super NES mouse, if you remember. Do you remember? That's what it was. If you want me to do that again, I mean, sure. Okay, never mind. You didn't seem to like that one. I think you thought that was weird. You know, maybe, no, I'm not sure if I want to do that. Maybe I'll do Mega Man X3. See how far I got. Alright, be sure to refresh the stream. Hey, man, let's go in there. Yeah, X3, I've streamed this a few times. The only time I did it with live commentary was that one time me and Sam argued on air. That was fun. Not really. Stream that got a dislike. Yeah, we'll start from the beginning. So X3. This is probably the toughest of the SNES Mega Man games. Mega Man 7 included. It's also easily the rarest. In the US especially, Jesus. US used copies of the game seem to be going for up to $200. Which is insane to me. Absolutely insane. So one of my friends when we were in elementary school, he paid $50 for that used. This is also his favorite Mega Man game. I believe that's subjective love and not objective love, but yeah, here we go. So this game was, the level design was done by Minakuchi Engineering. It was outsourced from Capcom. Those bug bots give me a nuisance vibe. The screwdriver enemies are bastards, and they will plague you throughout this game. So what was I saying? The level design is a much wider than in other Mega Man games of the time. And I think that might be a fault of this game, because there's quite a bit of empty space. Right now we're going to get the first time Zero was ever playable. So X goes to protect the Maverick Hunter headquarters. He gets captured, and Zero's got to save the day. So Zero has a 28 health, and he can charge his Buster all the way up. Let's see, level 2 shot, level 3 shot, and then his level 4 shot is his Z-Saber. But the Z-Saber has a little bit of a delay, so you gotta be careful when you use that. But that thing does a lot of damage. It's very easy to lose it because the startup just has a bit of a delay for it. Just want to time that shot carefully. So Zero is playable in a very limited capacity in this game. He can only be used in certain areas. When I go to the normal Maverick stages, you can only use him in certain spots. And Zero, outside of this stage and a scripted event, he only has 1 life. If Zero dies, you cannot use him again in the game. So him being playable is neat, but it also feels very oddly tacked on in a way. Yeah, Mac is dead. Zero wouldn't be fully playable until X4. So that's a way that this game was innovative to the X series. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. This game has a special expansion chip to allow for sprite rotation and wireframes. You can see some of those wireframes in the background. You might see it during some of the boss fights. Yeah, Grant, if I'm not mistaken, you've only played X7 as far as the X games go. Hmm. This boss is very easy. He's not hard, he's just big. Yeah, I played the hell out of that game. Burn to the ground. I pity you. I truly do. I was recording footage of that for the hell of it last year because I got a new copy. Actually, no, that was my first time owning the game. I only had borrowed it or played it at friends' houses, and just that it just isn't fun. It's oh my god, excuse me. It's it's just a pain in the ass to do anything in that game. To me, it's a bad game in a way that is just not funny or amusing. But I'll have to, if I ever do a video about it, I'll have to dig into it for sure. A long time ago, I did want to review all the Mega Man X games, and I do own all of them. It is doable. So we'll do Blizzard Buffalo stage. I skipped the intro. This is the first Mega Man game where you can skip the intro for the bosses. The stage is somewhat big and it's very slippery. Something I didn't comment on about the music in this game. The music in this game is very divisive. A decent number of people think it's pretty bad. I know a few number of people who like it. I'm kind of on the fence, but one observation I'll make: the first stage and this stage, there's something about the sound that just comes off as very melancholy and sad to me. I'm not sure if it's just me. Oh, that was dumb. See, Grant says if I had a capture card, I'd do that one for you. Either I need to move to Delaware or you need to move to Texas so that we could do some of this shit together. I'm not sure how much longer I'll be in Texas, though. We'll see. Alright, let's see if I can jump back over there. So these platforms, you can use right armors on, but like I demonstrated in one stream I did a while back, you actually have to to rescue a captured right armor. So I can't do that just yet. There's a lot of Metroid-like hidden paths in this game, in particular. For better or for worse. Yeah, like right there, you can see how the cannon enemy respawn. Some of it, the respawn is pretty lousy. Here, yeah, right there. Maybe you saw it if you were paying attention. You could see the twilight zone between the loading zone and the where I previously was. It's pretty, yeah, right there. This game is probably the worst of the Mega Man X games at that. They all have their issues with it, sure, but that's pretty egregious in my opinion. Right there would have been a sub-boss fight with either Bit or Bite. I rewatched your X vid, and I think you mentioned that's a big problem in the X series. I mean, it's an issue with the 16-bit era in general. Also some 8-bit games. I mentioned last time that I was experimenting a little bit in the original Metroid. That's a big issue in that game. But I demonstrated how nuts it can be just right there. So I just gotta keep moving. Plain and simple. I really want to know why I have such a bad case of the yawns right now. Alright, that's sub-tank right there. We can't get to it just yet. Or else this enemy with the missiles here, that'll respawn pretty badly if I don't keep moving forward. I don't understand why I feel so tired. I barely left the house today, except for, well, 2 times. It's 3 times actually. I just maybe that's it. I just had 2 cups of coffee earlier, and that's why I think the whole caffeine kick is a placebo effect. Okay, so there's a very tricky jump that needs to be made here in order to get the capsule. So I'll need to walk towards the edge dash and jump, and the room to jump back up there is extremely narrow, as you can see. But you'll need that for the air dash. And I normally do this stage first because the air dash is very important. And Blizzard Buffalo has some very stupid AI to exploit as well. So this is the first time in the series where you can air dash upwards. Alright, let's go back and get that sub-tank now. And yeah, there's some, I can show some bad respawning with this enemy. I'll kill him, and then, right there. Very silly. It's almost like it's some kind of video game with technical limitations. And it's time to ride the current. I remember hearing that X was heavily based on Cash Hand. I'm not sure if that's completely true. I'm pretty fond of the series. I've heard that, but I've never heard any confirmation of it. I can kind of see it, seeing as how people say Astro Boy and Speed Racer were influences on Mega Man from a artistic standpoint. So I could see it, even though I can't definitively say yes or no. To me, Mega Man X embodies the whole 90s characters with attitude and darker and edgier thing. But I think the reason why the games held up so well is because they were, for the most part, well made. And aren't just fads of an era, or products of an era playing into a fad. I'm gonna farm for some health. This may not work in my favor. Speaking of anime, I wonder if Toonami ever played the Banned Outlaw Star episode. I don't need to see it. I own it. I've owned it for years, but I'm just curious. It's really amusing to me that that was banned for that reason. Rule number 1 of Mega Man: always be ready to farm. yeah, absolutely. Less so in the NES games, but and not at all in the PlayStation games. Not at all. Alright, if I don't start getting something here, I'm just gonna move on to the boss. I think I told you that on Facebook. They will in a week. That's neat. I have a few episodes recorded out of curiosity, but I actually haven't actually seen any of the Toonami broadcast because I don't have cable in my room, so I have to watch in the family room, and sometimes I only watch TV alone unless it's like the Olympics or something, because I don't have a lot of free space otherwise. I don't even stream through my computer anymore, live TV. I canceled that because I really need to save some money. I think I'm all the better for it, honestly. Alright, this isn't accomplishing anything. I'm just gonna go fight Blizzard Buffalo now. I should be fine. On a live stream, Jason DeMarco and Gil Austin said about a month ago they found that the network stands for a little bit of I know that when they aired Akira, they covered up. This is not good. I was trying to do an AI exploit and I screwed it up royally. There we go. There we go. So, when Blizzard Buffalo charges into the wall and gets stuck there for a moment and then turns around, if his eyeline doesn't notice X at his eyeline or below him, the AI is going to think that X is facing the wall, which is why he charges back into the wall. So if you air dash efficiently, I mean, there are people who do that trick so much better than I. If you air dash efficiently, you can get him caught in a loop where he won't hit you. But the problem is, I didn't air dash correctly the first time I did it, so I had some trouble with that. But I beat him, so it doesn't matter. Let's do Toxic Seahorse next. Or as he's called in Japan, Acid Seaforce. cankerous snowman. I guess you think these names are a bit silly, don't you? Ew, we're in a sewer. I really want to know what a C-force is. That's not a C-force, that's a C-force. Now this is important. To do a run in this game, you have to do quite a bit of backtracking. In my experience, it's somewhat difficult to do this game without getting a game over. Because when you beat 2 bosses, that's when Bit and Bite appear in the rooms that are locked. They're a little bit tricky. I just think everybody's name sounds like a Fist of the North Star art style. When they did Maverick Hunter X, they changed Boomer Quanger's name to Boomerang Quanger. Which I find funny because, I mean, a Quanger isn't a real thing. But I guess Boomerang Stag Beetle would sound weird. Some of the Japanese Maverick names are just plain funny. Like Wheelgator, which is a funny name in its own right, is Wheels Alligates. And Chill Penguin is Icy Penguillo. Hercule Boomerang might have worked. Because this may sound silly. When I was younger, I thought he was a kangaroo because it said Boomer. Didn't realize the stag beetle thing until, excuse me, a few years down the line. These missile enemies are another shitty enemy that the game can respond badly. Terribly. I don't know how you can pass this part without the air dash. Actually, yeah, dash jump, okay. Actually, no, you could invincibility dash, alright? I don't know what I'm talking about. And Toxic Seahorse is pretty easy. Man, he just walked right into that. Really dig how those icicles plant themselves. You know, that attack is called Frost Shield. I think somebody screwed up while naming it. You get Acid Rush. So now Dr. Doppler is going to send Bit and Byte to fight us. They actually have different names in Japan, but their Japanese names are very long and convoluted, and I don't feel like saying them. You can find them on the internet, though. Have fun pronouncing them. I'm just not going to say them. And then we have a mystery man who wants revenge. In the English text, the game calls him Mysterious Maverick. And here Dr. Doppler muses how X beat his master twice in the past. I actually remember Byte's pattern, so I'm not too worried if I run into him for a battle. But Bit's pattern. Byte is a lot trickier though. I'm gonna want to do this one next. And now Tunnel Rhino, or as he's called in Japan, Screw Masider. I like Tunnel Rhino better. I think this song is rockin'. So what are your thoughts on the PlayStation X games? The only knowledge I have on them is from the AVGN video. So I don't know if he exaggerates some stuff for comic relief. I really like X4. It's I think it's one of the better games in the series. I still like X1 and X2 better than that. X5 and X6 are pretty lousy though. I like X4 and Mega Man 8. The X4 and X5 are pretty bad. There's a few things I like about them, but they're very minor. X5 has some really bad pacing, and X6 has really terrible level design from the school of let's go kill you level design. That's the big issue with that game. And I don't fight anybody after all. I could always stream those someday, seeing as how I own all the X games. You say X5 and 6 are lousy as if X7 isn't my benchmark, haha. Well, the problem is, Grant, that the X games started from a really good place, and then they just really knocked themselves down. There was a time where Mega Man was seen as an oversaturated B or C tier franchise, and you don't hear the cry of where are my Mega Man games like you do nowadays. I would say about 14 years ago, Mega Man was almost considered a joke of a franchise, with a few games as an exception, and you know, people were just complaining, why are they making so many? Some of the serious critic sites blasted the game, so I remember G4 Tech TV criticized the Mega Man X games. X4 was supposed to be the final X game, right? I've heard that X5 was intended to be the last one originally, because Inafune wanted to do his own thing with Zero, but Capcom had another team design, make, produce, create X6 without him being involved in it at all. As far as I know, Inafune was the producer on X5, but I don't think he was heavily involved in it personally. If you look at your game history, Inafune, despite being a producer for a lot of Mega Man games, wasn't as involved as you might think, or as he wanted you to think. Those crabs shoot electro lasers. Oh, that stinks. Yeah, I remember hearing you tell me that, and Mighty Number 9 proved that he didn't get the series. Yeah, Mighty Number 9, I'm very tired of this trend when a company is formed to make essentially a parody version of games they used to make for a different company. I think Mighty Number 9 tarnished his reputation, honestly. I had no faith in that game from the get-go. Sometimes the AI for this sub-boss is really bad, and it will just do a loop of crashing into the wall a few times in a row. Right now I got a bad roll, and it's actually putting up a fight. Wow. Yeah, what it just did right there, it'll do like 5 times in a row. Down. Game over. Let's try Tunnel Rhino again. I'll do this for 10 more minutes. Like, yeah, we were talking about parody versions of games. My friend Matt called Mighty Number 9 the Ratatouille version of Mega Man, which I think is appropriate. I really do. And that ukulele bullshit that nobody liked or bought, it's the same principle. It was made by former people at Rare who are trying to recapture the past. And just as a result, you get a very bad game from it. They don't make games like Mega Man anymore, so you can't, at least Ratatouille, have Mike Pollock. Yeah, Mighty Number 9 doesn't even have that on its side. You can't recapture the past. It's something that I've learned. They don't make games like Mega Man anymore. You can't hope to make one. You would just have to hope to make a good video game that is a Mega Man game. I don't think anybody who worked on Mighty Number 9 understood that. I also, in my heart of hearts, believe that, oh, now we're fighting Bite. I have to wake up a little bit. That was something that Inafune and none of the staff on Mighty Number 9 seemed to understand. I think that there was misappropriation of funds. You got no hopes for Mega Man 11? I think Mega Man 11 will be better because I think Capcom will have learned from their mistakes. The mistakes of Mighty Number 9, that is to say. Not their mistakes making a Mega Man game. This isn't how it's supposed to be. sometime this year, or if it hasn't happened already, because I'm out of the game loop, they're gonna re-release all the Mega Man X games on PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. So that might be their way of trying to resurrect the series. And I think Mega Man 11 would at least be decent. Frankly, Mega Man's 9 and 10. I heard about that Switch. Yeah, okay. I didn't know it was on Switch. Frankly, Mega Man 9 and 10, I didn't like the fact how they were trying to pretend that it was an NES game. Mega Man 9, I don't think is all that bad, but I would grow to dislike the game. It's actually one of my least favorite games in the series. It's not necessarily bad though. I didn't think 10 seemed to get a mixed reaction. I like 10 better. But I think that was a bit more subjective, me liking 10. There we go. The trick is to bait him into jumping and then slide under him. Nah, I'm dead. Maybe I should use that sub-tank. What would you rate the Street Fighter X Mega Man fan game? I mean, I haven't played that in a long time. I don't think I have anything... Excuse me. Let me just getting these yawns. I don't think I have anything concrete to say about it. I really don't. I think it's pretty lame that for the 25th birthday, all they could do was license not even license, support a fan game. Because that game was released for free. They really just supported it. They didn't even commission it or anything. Maybe I'll try a different stage. Let's see how it goes with Neon Tiger. I normally like to get the screw drill from Tunnel Rhino, but this has just been a bad standing. Anyway, hopefully that answers your question, Grant. this song? What's so unique about it? I'm actually amazed Capcom didn't get sued for this song, and I'll show you why. Well, 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 you just can't tell. Well, 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 Mama Shell. I'm very amazed. Just listen. I've been saying this for years. Axl Rose either didn't notice or didn't care. I heard a representative from Capcom say, like 7 or 8 years ago, that it's just a coincidence. The music for this game was outsourced to Minakuchi Engineering. The sound font is the exact same sound font of Mega Man X2. The lady who did the music, I know Zero Guns N' Roses, so I'm looking it up. Well, that explains why I can't stand it. Oh, burn. I still like Appetite for Destruction a lot. I think November Rain is a great song. I honestly like to pretend they're one-hit wonders because everything else sounds so childish. Well, I think one of the things is I like Axl as a songwriter. As a singer, he mostly works with his pseudo metal thing, but Slash is one of my favorite guitarists, and I think he would go on to do much better things outside of Guns N' Roses. Shit. I would honestly like to pretend they were inexperienced. What's inexperienced? I also don't think that their sound is really generic to me. Maybe it's one of those things where people find FF7 to be generic now. You know, frankly, playing through FF6 and FF7 in close proximity, I've come to find that a lot of things from FF7 are derivative of Final Fantasy VI. But I think ultimately Final Fantasy VII is a better game. Mostly because I like the combat system in that game better. I still need to actually finish it one of these days. Boney sent me Final Fantasy IX sometime last year, and I just really need to actually play it. Send me that and Chrono Cross. I can't help but think that some parts of this game were not complete because like the drill boss in Tunnel Rhino stage and this bug thing, I feel like there should be sound effects when it's burrowing and what have you. If I were to make the game, this thing would have been making sound effects. 9 is probably my fave. I haven't played it in a long time. 9 has really good art, and I think 7 has better pacing. But that's my very generic take on it. I like how we can go from Mega Man to Guns N' Roses to Final Fantasy. It's all connected. I will give you that. 7 has pretty good pace. I think one of the issues with 7 is that it might have been too ambitious for its own good. Because, like, in concept, the motorbike sections are really conceptually neat, but when you actually play them, they feel very underdeveloped. You bastard. This is my last life. Yeah, I'm gonna stop soon. So I should really try to go all in. Yeah, use those healing items. Why not use them? I gotta use them. Shit. Oh, this is bad. Dead. Oh. 7 was way too built up for me over the years. I will probably play that for the first time years ago. When I was in middle school, I think I didn't mean to pick this stage. I think I got too caught up in the this is overrated and that's overrated phase. And I think I was kind of scornful towards Final Fantasy VII. But Matt and Zia really suggested that I reevaluate it. That's why Zia donated me Final Fantasy VII about 4 years ago. and I found myself really liking it. Uh, I realized that my complaints about the game from my middle school ones, they just seem to be prepubescent, contrarian analysis. Ultimately, I came to understand why it was so liked in its time. If I had played that in 1997, it probably would have blown my mind. Not sure it would have blown my mind. I probably would have really liked it though. I remember one complaint I had is that you could only have 3 party members instead of 5, like you could in Final Fantasy VI. But I think that makes the battles in more focused than the ones in 6. Sometimes more isn't necessarily better. It almost reminds me of when Pokemon introduced the 2-on-2 battles, I thought that was pretty gimmicky. And I didn't like the rotating or triple battles they introduced later down the line. That was the very definition of a gimmick. Yeah. Yeah, big fan. Whenever I try to analyze games on software agents, I really do, or just in general, I really do try hard to not be Mr. This is overrated kind of guy. I don't think it's a real criticism or analysis of things. Some points where FF7 really could have improved. The translation quality of that game is weird. Sometimes it's okay. Other times it reminds me of some badly translated NES games. Some of the cursing is a bit odd. And there's a lot of ellipses. Just a lot of ... in that game. What I find amusing about Final Fantasy VII is that game is sympathetic to terrorists. I don't think you could get away with that these days. I mean, our main characters are basically eco-terrorists. And I remember another criticism, I think the whole thing about Cloud being emo, I don't think that holds any weight whatsoever. I really don't. Anything was possible in a pre-9/11 world, and with cocaine. Yeah, 9/11 really shit. This is just getting depressing in terms of writing. 9/11 made this country a bunch of crybabies, unfortunately. I don't want people. That statement's going to be misinterpreted. I'm sure on the off chance this YouTube channel blows up overnight, I'm gonna go to sleep and then wake up in the morning and be horrified with thousands of emails. I want people to just try to understand the context of that. Everything got very sensitive and censored after 9/11, it seems. And I'm not trying to undermine, actual human tragedy in the face of the quality of entertainment. I mean, that's inhumane. Just get what I'm saying, please. Don't send me hate mail. I get enough hate when I work at Kroger. And I'm not gonna speak any more of that. Okay, Last Life. Seriously, Last Life. Let's try to make this count. Actually, you know what? I want to see where I go with this life, but I did promise I would show off Tetris Flash. So I'll do that, but only very briefly after this. I did this a little bit longer than I expected. Finally, jeez. Let's change the subject. How was the Roger Waters concert? New stuff mixed with old. I thought I talked about it. I really enjoyed it a lot. There were a few songs I was hoping to hear. I wanted to hear Sheep, but they got a lot of his good stuff with Floyd. The guitarist was good. John Karen was there. And I wish you could have actually seen him. He was kind of hidden. But he was fine. There were a few parts that were obviously pre-recorded, like Another Brick in the Wall Part 3 is usually done pre-recorded when it's live. Mostly because Roger... he has such a hard time hitting those high notes. I know that part was pre-recorded. I don't think anything else of the show was. I hope it wasn't. The guitarist who did, when they did the Animals album, that was really good. And the keyboardist who wasn't John Karen sounded an awful lot like Richard Wright. So that was neat. The percussion wasn't too bad either, because Roger, sometime in the 2000s for his live shows, he had a really bad habit of telling his drummer or percussionist to... Let's see. Ryan seems suspicious that I'm doing X3. Hey Ryan, I'm not going to be doing this much longer, but it's good to see you here. The percussionist that Roger would use in the 2000s, he would tell them to use a lot of hi-hats and cymbals, and he eventually phased that out, and I'm glad he did, because I just thought it sounded like a lot of noise. He was pretty bad about that, like, after 2000 onwards. Okay, no blight encounter. I should be good to do Neon Tiger. Yeah, Ryan seems pretty suspicious that I'm playing X3. If I'm interpreting that emoticon correctly. Maybe. I don't know. Neon Tiger, here we go. Can I survive? Oh snap, it's Slash Beast. Better not risk it. He's done for. There we go. Yeah, you know, Slash Beast made an appearance a game before he came out. Who'd have thunk it?
Those game designers sure were crafty.
Let's see, I beat Mega Man 7 and Mega Man X2 on stream. If you guys would like me to keep the X3 run, if you'd like me to just save the password so I could continue this some other time, possibly. What I'll do is, so I've been doing this for almost 2 hours. I'll show off Tetris Flash as kind of an exhibition, but that will be just very quickly. I really just want to get back to work to my other project and, of course, sleep for my job. So, yeah, do me a favor and refresh the stream, and I'll show off Tetris Flash. I'll be sure to make a record of this password so that I could continue this. Because even though I did really crappy here, this is probably the best I've played X3 live ever. Okay. So, just do me a favor, refresh the stream. Hey, can everybody hear me okay? You're good? Okay. So, Tetris Flash, this was donated to me by Daniel, I forget his last name, starts with the letter T, from Japan. He also donated us Mario Paint and my Super NES. So, yeah, in the US, this game was called Tetris 2. Uh, I just find that name very curious. Tetris is one of those games that the idea of it having a sequel is weird to me. And this is kind of like Dr. Mario and Tetris at exactly the same time. Uh, we'll get into a game just for the sake of it. The aesthetic is odd, too. Because, I mean, right here on the title screen, I mean, it looks like somebody's chilling in their house, I guess. The architecture looks pretty Japanese to me. And there's a nice frothy mug of beer here. Nintendo of America did not try to censor that out. I'm not sure why this is called Tetris Flash, but it being Tetris 2 is it's a bit odd to me. So I'll music B because I think music A is kind of annoying. Of course, Tetris is a jungle theme menu. See, I'm not sure if it's me, but this just seems an awful lot like Dr. Mario. The container seems like the pill bottle. The bottle of pills in Dr. Mario. It's my take on it. And it's like Dr. Mario with Tetraminos, the way I see it. So this game is more of a curiosity to me than just a straight up Tetris sequel. I'm not sure if I'd call this a Tetris variant. It feels like a variant of Dr. Mario that has just the Tetris blocks in it. So what do you think are the Vegas odds that guy in the left-hand corner will be in Smash Brothers 5? That low, huh? Also, there's a once you touch the ground, there's a limited number of times you can spin the block, like right there, as opposed to some other versions of Tetris where you can basically have an infinite spin. I'm doing really bad right here. He kind of looks like a grim Mr. Saturn, so it should be an easy hack. If only Mr. Saturn was playable. The only game my parents would play right here. Is that just because it has the Tetris name, or because this game has a certain degree of simplicity to it? Because the goal here is not to clear lines, but if you see the flashing blocks, the flashing yellow block, for instance, I have to eliminate that. So it's kind of more like Dr. Mario. Oh, because the game's simple. Okay. So it makes the game objective based. And that should be it. There we go. Once you clear the flashing blocks, that's it. Yeah, just look at the posters in the background. It's very odd stuff. It's too bad that Nintendo will most likely never re-release the NES version of Tetris, because I really like the aesthetic of that game. It's not the best version of Tetris. I'm not sure what other people think. I really like the DS version of Tetris, but The NES version of Tetris is very nostalgic to me. I like the big castle. Um, every home shall have a. I think the poster says "boy" on it actually. The NES version, I love the aesthetic. I like that Samus is playing a cello. I like the castle. The music's classic. Game Boy Tetris is my favorite. That's a pretty good version too. But I do like the DS version quite a bit. I think Nintendo consistently did a good job with the Tetris license. If you want Grant, I'm gonna show Tetris and Bombalist very quickly, but that's absolutely gonna be it. If you want to see that, I think I kind of made my point about this. Oh, Ryan, you've 100% Tetris too. Yeah, another mode this game has. Yeah, I lied. Uh, I could do this. Another mode this game excuse me, is puzzle mode. Yeah, just look at this aesthetic here. I find it very enigmatic. We got French fries, chickens, some green beans, a fruit tree, dinosaurs. It's very odd. So here you got to clear it in one move. One move. Clear everything. So Ryan, you've completed all 30 puzzles, is what you're saying? That didn't work. Flash Games Tetris is my favorite Tetris. Yep. I see. You're probably solving puzzles in Jurassic Park. That would have to explain it. It would make sense, seeing as how this came out either close to Jurassic Park or around the same time. Yeah, I'll stop here. I'm gonna suck at this. Now, where did I put Tetris and Bombless? It would make sense to me if there's one thing about the '90s is that we had a big obsession with dinosaurs back then. There we go. Fossil fuels, radical. Yeah, that's my take on it. Radical. Super Tetris 2. This one is also made by Bullet Point, who also they did the Game Boy version of Tetris. I think they did the NES version of Tetris. I'm not sure. Um, this is a fun version of Tetris in terms of play. Although I really think that the aesthetic of the NES version I like the best. I just like the fact that we have the castle, the Russian castle, and the Nintendo characters playing musical instruments. But this is what it looks like ultimately. gets a little bit more complicated. Man, I could just demo that very quickly. But the other mode is bombless. And that's basically another game in and of itself, more or less. I just think this is really nutty. This bombless mode. See if I'm doing it right. No, I didn't mean to do that. That's terrible. Yeah, that can happen. That would be Tetris 2 and bombless. Just a very quick demonstration. Alright. I don't know who's still here, but thanks for watching. I'm not sure what I would do next time I would do this. The next time I will do this is probably next Thursday. Keep an eye out for the Injustice video. I'm gonna go back to work on it now. Really want to thank you guys for watching this. It just kind of encourages me to make content. It really does, and gives me ideas, stuff to talk about. Just remember, we're gonna be losing our monetization in a few days. I don't know how I can try to find a way to get that back, but watching the videos, sharing them around, helps us. If there's a way to try to reapply once we meet the watch and subscriber goals, I'm definitely going to try to get in on that. I need to rewrite our Patreon page. I'll share that around later. But yeah, thanks for doing this. I did not expect to be streaming so much today. All right, I'll see you guys later. If I could just turn this off.